Welcome back, everyone. So, as you may have guessed from the title, today this week, we're getting everything ready for our sheep to go in the barn. Now, it's not anything terribly hard that has to get done. It's just a bunch of tedious things that take time. And the first thing we're going to do, because we wanted to wait until it was cold and crappy out, is go check on this feed trough. Unfortunately, when the horses were in here, they were playing around with it, and Red broke a couple parts of it. Shouldn't be that hard to fix, but the weather is not pleasant. I don't know if you can hear the wind, but it's howling. You could probably see the flag in the background. Yeah, you can see it right there. It's a big flag. It's 8x12 and it's pretty well straight out. And it looks like we only have one spot that really needs fixed. So this won't be too bad. So we'll take this, zip it in. Hopefully it holds. If not, that's obviously not going to hold. Oh, that one is broke. So this part's not too bad. The weather just kind of sucks right now. It wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't windy, but it is what it is. All right, that's done. Let's go inside. We're out of the wind. We also got to make a list of some last minute things we got to pick up. Number one being not a cotter pin, but I can't think what they're called. Anyways, I want to get a pin that goes through there. That way the sheep can't get over here and bump it and knock grain out, because that is our intent to fill buckets this year. We put that on earlier this year. If you didn't see the video, it's on the channel a while back. Had to climb inside the grain bin for that. It was not as exciting and fun as I thought it would be. What you doing, Ginger? Ginger is our other barn cat. Ginger is she's not friendly. Let me rephrase that. Ginger is friendly, like she's not gonna attack us or anything like that, but she doesn't like humans other than my daughter. So if we need to catch her to take her to the vet, we have our daughter come out here and grab her. What's a little bit more troublesome here is actually this. So I don't know if the camera's gonna pick it up or not. It doesn't look like it is. Anyhow, that light right there at the top is very dim. And I actually checked all the voltage and everything yesterday, and none of them work. And I don't really understand why that all of them would quit at the same time, but like that one does it. There's one right here behind the tractor does it. That one actually is the one I unplugged because that's where I tested the voltage at originally, and then tested all the others and plugged them back in. So I don't know what's up with them. I guess we just need to get new lights. Those ones quit on us, which is weird because all the other ones work just fine. All right, so as we mentioned, most of the stuff is little tedious things that are just time consuming and they're not entertaining and it just kind of sucks. But the bigger things, and that's what I'm going to point out, are pretty simple to take care of because they're set up from last year. Now, you can see that we got these panels that we got from Premier One to put on the ends. I didn't really have a good solution for this end, so I just went with that for now. And in reality, I think in the future, what we'd like to do is be able to feed with a mixer grinder, but for now, this is what we're using and we're gonna make it work. So these are pretty much ready to go. We did cut some holes in the sides. We actually did that earlier this spring, but that stuff's pretty much done and ready to go. That's what they're going to eat all their hay out of. So all these bales that you're going to see behind me now, right, we put 3 in there at a time. Those are 5x5 round bales. We can put 3 in there at a time. And last year with 109, I think it was 109 last year. I'd have to look at the registry. But with 109 ewes plus all their lambs, we had 6 bales in there, and that 6 bales would last us for 2 weeks. This year we have 160 adult ewes plus their lambs. My guess is it's going to be closer to about a week for every 6 bales. So we're gonna see how that works. Outside that feed trough out there, you already saw, that is just for grain. They get grain once a day, and we put out enough that each ewe, so for instance, we're going to put out 160 pounds a day, and that is so that each ewe can get 1 pound of grain. And I know some of them are going to eat a little faster than others, but the point being is that it's as even as we can make it. This down here Doesn't really need anything. I need to take that outside. That's actually the horse's hay rack. So I'll use the skid steer and we'll jostle that outside. I also have to pick up, because you can see that right now we're on a concrete floor. We have cleaned it because, like I said, my boy and his basketball team, they played some basketball in here and practiced. But we got to put the bedding down. Before I put that bedding down, I do need to scrape all of this out. And while that isn't really a lot, that's the tedious parts that suck, because it's all got to be done by hand. So it does take a little while. All these need to be put up so we don't lose anything and the sheep don't mess with stuff. We need to clean out the creep feeder. Just a lot of random things that need to be done. Like I said, nothing's big or difficult to do. It's just time consuming. You can see that there's probably chicken poop in there. We'll clean that out, get the dust out of it too. And then we'll be ready. I guess I better get started. So we have a lot of people that asked, hey, aren't these going to get rusty and just rot away? You can see that those metal tubes that are on the ground are not rusty. Actually, they're probably less rusty than these up here, where they get humidity and condensation touching them. Most of this sawdust, like I said, is not dust dry, but it is dry enough that it can still absorb urine and get coated to feces like we've showed before, and we'll show it again this year. But it's not wet enough that it has enough moisture in it residing that's going to rust these away. It has to have some moisture in it though, because otherwise it'd be dusty like it is right here with me cleaning this out. All right, those are all cleaned up, and so is the creep feed pen, and even our staging area to bring the skid steer in and out if we had to leave sheep in there. But I stumbled across another problem. I actually already fixed it. The valve here actually froze and cracked on us. And I'm not real sure why, because we left the heat tape on. That heat tape for the hydrant's plugged in year round. Because if something's going to break, I'd much rather it be something on that hose than the hydrant, because it's just easier to deal with. But anyways, that's up and running, so they're going to have water. I already tested the water, the outside, the inside. And this is piled up. We'll have to grab the skid steer, and we'll scoop it and throw it in the politician, and we'll let it sit there. It's dry, so I'm not worried about it rusting. It's not like fresh manure where it's got moisture in it. I don't like leaving that sit just because of the simple fact that urine is obviously got a lot of ammonia and it's very corrosive, so we don't want to leave that sit inside of here for those reasons. This thing is old and we want to keep it alive as long as we can. A new one's not in the budget, not for a while. May as well hook this up while we're here. Let's see here, we gotta go. Can't get it up high enough. We're going to come back to that in a second. I'm going to go grab the skid steer. We'll dump all this in the back half of the politician, and hopefully that will get it light enough on the front we can just lift it on there. Let's see if we can get this thing on. Oh man. Oh man. What have you skid steer? I can't get it. Oh, this metal's so cold. Can't get it. Whew. All right, the final piece to the puzzle. Sort of. Sawdust. Fortunately, we have a neighbor, Bob, that got a new dump truck that's smaller. So he's got 2 dump trucks. He's got a big one and a smaller one. The smaller one actually fits in here. He actually drove right through those doors behind me because we can't come through the bottom doors because right now the hay sticks out into those. Now, once we get down to the normal 3 rows, it won't, but we've got 4 rows, so it blocks them. Not a big deal because we were able to fit through there. So we're gonna take this. We're actually just gonna push it up there for now because the boys have their basketball scrimmage that they want to play against each other to celebrate the end of their season. And I'm not going to stop that because it's way better than sitting in front of a screen. So we're going to push this out of the way so they can still play their game, make sure everything's out of the way for them. And once they get done Saturday, we will spread this out and move the sheep in right after that. Just wanted to show this one more time. So the sawdust, right? See, I can squish it. No water comes out of it, but I can compact it together. So every time I do that, no water comes out, just compacts together. Now, it'll still stick to things just like it was sticking to my hand. And my hands aren't even wet. They're really cold and probably very dry. I say all that because that is what's important about this whole situation. Dry sawdust will make it a dust bowl in here like it was earlier when I was cleaning all this old stuff out. Now the other thing is that while what stays in the creep feed pin and these pins behind me here, those are going to be dry because that doesn't get changed the whole season, and it actually won't get changed until next year. But we go in there and we get all the junk out of there, and then new hay is essentially put down, not on purpose so much, but just by the animals in general when they're eating. Because when they're eating out of these buckets, they waste a lot of hay, opposed to when they're eating out of those feeders that you see behind me. We had to step away from the farm and go interview 2 potential new guys to work for us. And we ended up hiring them. Hopefully everything works out well with them. I think it will. Time will tell. Oh, Georgie, I'm glad somebody enjoys this weather. It's too cold and windy for me, buddy. Well, it's a few days later. We did end up hiring those guys that we went and interviewed. And they're actually inside the barn, so you're going to get to meet them. The other thing is that the boys are done playing basketball. The party's still going on, but I'm going to go ahead and move this sawdust around. Well, Scruff and Fluff, you ready for your big debut? Yeah. So that's Scruff and Fluff. Fluff is the white one, and Scruff is the tan-colored one. These 2 are both Anatolian Shepherd mixes, and they're actually already living with goats whenever we picked them up. Mom was still taking care of them. They just turned 8, almost 9 weeks. Anyhow, those are our new employees, or George's new co-workers, however you want to put it. But they're gonna stay in the barn all winter with the sheep. And that's to help them bond, just because they're young. Get them bonded, the better the bond is, the better that they're gonna do at their job. I know, it's cold out, ain't it? All right, you boys gotta go somewhere else because you're gonna get in the way and I don't wanna run anybody over. So come on. Look at you, you guys are heavy. All right, come on, follow me. Come on, boys. All right, it's all spread out. We did some little different changes here and there. And essentially what it boils down to is all the bedding, we're not putting anything around the bales, anything near the bales, nothing near the water, and nothing near the mineral trough. Mainly because we don't want animals to lay down in bed there. Where this sawdust is good and thick, I don't think the camera, the camera's not showing it very well, but right here there's a strip, and it's about 4 to 6 inches thick. All this strip, the whole thing. We will spread a little bit more closer to this wall, but overall it'll end up looking mostly like this one. So spread the whole thing, and ensuring that we're encouraging them to bed where there's not a lot of traffic. We don't want them to bed next to the bales because we want the bales to be accessible and let everybody have access to them at all times to eat. If you have a bunch of animals laying around it and trying to nap there, it doesn't really help you. Hope you all enjoyed this video. I know I'm kind of excited for him to come in, even though it's going to require more daily effort, but it is a great time for us. It's kind of like harvest time. This is where our crops come in, how many lambs we're going to have, and what's going to pay the bills for next year. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a blessed week. We'll see you next time.